Yeah, who knew we'd be living in a world where people have to financially plan for a trip to the store for some eggs? But despite reality, Trump and Team MAGA keep telling us that everything is great. Eggs are cheap, the economy's booming, alternative facts. So let's get into it.
I can almost guarantee you missed this headline, because if you hadn't, you wouldn't be watching me on your phone right now, because you would have yeeted your phone directly into the wall. But if you're one of the millions of Americans pissed off about high egg prices, you need to hear this, because we just found out the nation's largest egg supplier just reported quarterly profits of $509 million. That is 3 times their quarterly profit for the same quarter last year. In fact, before egg prices went absolutely egg shit, this company's average quarterly profit was $5 million. But for the last 4 quarters, that jumped to $169 million per quarter on average. And this all happened because egg prices tripled while the government was giving bailout money to egg producers to help offset the losses. Money that was given to those producers to help keep prices down. But you know why prices didn't stay down? Because nobody said they had to. That's it. That's free market capitalism.
Here's what they don't want to tell you. The biggest egg supplier in America got a huge government bailout. Instead of using it to keep prices affordable, they jacked them up and posted record profits. So, just so we're clear, they railed on people eating avocado toast all the time while they buy more yachts.
And it is a perfect example of one of the greatest Republican lies of the past century. That lie being that the government shouldn't regulate businesses because through free market capitalism, businesses and industries will regulate themselves. The theory is that if you make food and then that food poisons people, then people won't buy your food and they'll buy food from people who don't poison you. Then eventually, after a whole bunch of people are poisoned to death, there will only be companies that don't make poisoned food. Theoretically, this is great, right? As long as you're not one of the people who died. But in reality, this just doesn't happen. Not ever, not once, not reliably. Instead, the same thing is what just happened with egg farms and egg prices. The biggest players in any given space survive the things that take out the smaller players. Then those biggest players use that scarcity to drive up the price.
So if you're still clinging to that bedtime story that Republicans keep telling us about the free market regulating itself, it's about as accurate as the trickle-down effect, which is a term I never really was very comfortable with anyway. So if the market could regulate itself, why did it regulate $6 for a dozen eggs? There's nothing competitive about a system where your choices are higher prices and higher prices.
Egg prices are back up again. You've had great success on that. What can people expect quickly?
Well, we are focused on, obviously, the president securing the border and grocery prices. Eggs have been a big driver in that under Joe Biden, increased by 230% in the last administration. Wholesale prices are now down almost 60%. We'll keep working on that and keep fighting for everyday Americans, and especially our American farmers and ranchers here at USDA.
Why is that answer acceptable? Why is the predictable and knee-jerk reaction to blame Joe Biden, who I guess is killing chickens in between the naps that I keep hearing about him taking? There's no specifics from the agriculture secretary, just an empty claim that they're working on it, with no clarity about what it is and how they're working on it. Maybe because in order to actually work on it, they'd have to bring up corporate greed.
Remember, it was more than 100-something million chickens were culled, and they spent $2 billion killing the chickens. And if you look at what's happened to the culling since President Trump took office, it's gone almost to zero. Well, thank you guys very much. I'm sorry.
Of eggs versus what consumers are actually paying. We've seen wholesale prices go down, but it's not always reflected in the grocery store.
The latest egg prices, go to the grocery store. I literally just went to the grocery store and bought the same eggs I always bought, and they were way down.
The whole country,
no, but it's $2.50 a dozen for the whole country. So. Okay, thank you guys.
Thanks, guys.
This is unreal. The reporter points out the reality about egg prices, only to have Kevin Hassett give a BS personal story of paying $2.50 that somehow means it's a nationwide price that no one else is paying, though. And since he knows the more questions he gets, the deeper that he'll have to dig, he just scurried off and didn't answer anymore. So again, why do people accept these answers?
Eggs. So when I got in, the press went absolutely crazy the first week. They said, eggs have quadrupled in price. I said, I just got here. Tell me about it. And Brooke Rollins and our team did a great job, and eggs are down now 79%, and they're all over the place. And this was a problem that somebody else would have taken a long time to cure.
So now egg prices are down 79%. I mean, you're welcome. The only way that they're bold enough to literally create this false reality about everything is that too many people are willing to believe it while their wallets disagree with them. This country has always been able to destroy certain elements of it to sustain its supremacy complex. Because according to reality, egg prices hit an all-time high just last month when they went from expensive to expensive. But as long as supporters know someone they don't like is suffering, they don't mind suffering themselves.
This administration wants you to believe that the reason you can't buy eggs is because of your immigrant neighbor. They want you to blame trans folks for your troubles, blame unhoused people for the housing crisis, blame anyone but the people actually profiting from our pain. You know what I say to that? Bullshit. We know who's hoarding the wealth. We know who's raising the rents, who's crashing the economy, and who's dismantling our democracy. It's not the undocumented worker. It's not the single mom. It's not the drag queen, the refugee, or the person sleeping in their car. It's the billionaires, the corporations, the lobbyists, the special interests.
The luxury that these oligarchs have by using social media to spread their alternate reality on gullible people has only enhanced the pace that they're able to increase the number of Americans that are eager to suffer for the approval of the people that are causing the suffering. The culprits are right in front of our faces, applying the pressure and telling you that you're un-American if you don't accept a subordinate and painful role in society. But eventually, enough people are going to have to figure it all out.